Max Performance. Believe, achieve, excel.
And on top of that, you've got transfer windows as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The bag's under my eye. I think the lines are starting to fall in my head a bit more. But yeah, I mean, they're mad to be involved in. Obviously, in my time at the football club, we've had about 6 or 7 managers in the short time I've been here, so it's been quite a volatile time. But we've had some interesting characters, and obviously Harry Redknapp being one for transfer deadlines. He's thinking his window, we brought in something crazy, like 6 players on deadline day, 14 in the window. We're sort of taking pictures of players in the dark, getting ready for announcements at 11 o'clock. We had one instance where one player was leaving the football club but signed the wrong area of an official document. He ends up staying, even though we announced that he'd left. It's just like a crate. But then there's lots of downtime as well. I'm describing it as if it's all go, but you're there for the entire day. So, you know, the deadline for the last window in the winter was 11 p.m. on a Monday, but we'll station ourselves at the training ground all day, just completely sort of on standby. You start to come up with some ideas when you get a sniff of what sort of player is coming along. So transfer announcements now have just taken over the world of sort of football media, and each club's almost trying to outdo themselves. It's the quirkiest, the most creative transfer announcement. So already you get hold of a name or you get wind of someone who may join the football club, and the team's already thinking, okay, how can we announce this transfer that's going to get a bit more attention? Just a fun way of doing it. And you find that with good news stories, you can be that more creative, sort of bit edgy, bit more risky, because ultimately the good news is you're signing a player at the end of it. The media management side, and when things aren't going so well, that's when you just need to be a little bit more considered into what you're putting out. But that all comes with sort of experience and learning and almost making mistakes. Like there's a few stories where, you know, if you had your time again, you probably wouldn't do it that way around, but it's all part of learning.
Yeah. So what helps with the creative process then, so that you almost outdo your competitors, stand out a bit more?
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what? There's credit to a few clubs that, I mean, it wasn't too long ago where a transfer announcement was just a web article, and that was, you know, so-and-so signed for X club. But then clubs started to get a little bit more bolder and braver and come up with some quirky ideas. And I think Bristol City started to do them goal memes, and it involved sort of props. So whenever anyone scored, you'd only have to browse Twitter, and there was fire extinguishers involved and sombreros, and that was just to announce a goal. So other clubs watching on then saw the sort of kudos that they were getting, and it's almost become a bit of a competition. It's unspoken of, but clubs will try and outdo each other or come up with a good way of announcing it. And then the problem is, I mean, we've had some real, I think this last year we've had some real joy and some really good sort of transfer announcements, but then you set the standard for yourself. So you have to meet that with every transfer after that. So I think you're looking for anything that wears a quirky name or a number or a story or where he's come from. And can you come up with an idea that uses a bit of popular culture or TV and film or references? So we've done quite a few like sketches and skits involving our players that have gone down really well. And like I say, you can afford to be creative and a little bit edgy, and it won't be everyone's cup of tea. We're very conscious that, you know, there's going to be older fans who are having absolutely no interest whatsoever in their football club, almost embarrassing themselves, as they'll put it, by announcing a player in this way. They just want a web article and that's it. But from our perspective as a younger audience, and especially on social media, they now expect you to almost come up with these ideas. So it's a good part of the job. Sometimes it's fast and frantic. We obviously signed the player 15 minutes after deadline, so that's a tough one where you get very little time to prepare anything. Can you come up with something very quickly? But they're the good fun bits that you like to be involved in, really. So all part of the craziness that is transfer deadlines.